Hello. Thanks for bearing with me. And this is the final bit of the introduction side of of how to make your factions. I've learned quite a bit, just making the videos as well as reviewing the videos, seeing how I can improve going forward. So I think ideally I should be having a better structure for what I do. But yeah, I hope you've at least found this a little bit insightful. And my next video is then going to be about how you actually then run the factions themselves. It will be a longer video, but at least it will be a bit more formal. Thank you very much. And like on that note, I just want to show you what it looks like when I go and I make some of these. So this is an example from my second edition AD&D campaign. Now, I chose not to go into the weeds and do every single asset and ability that they had. Instead, I focused primarily on the powers, and for these factions to become a more they will become more loosely based to allow the players to still be at the center point of the story. But I'll have to dig it out what I did with my Shadowrun game as I methodically went through everything. However, this is what you will end up having, where you have something like the Drakeshian Empire, the Drakish Empire, which I've described as being massive. And I added a comment in for myself where effectively you will find that the faction is it's an empire, it's huge, and if it goes into combat with another faction which is weaker than itself, that doesn't have any massive attributes, well, then it will just win. No rolls needed. The empire in this game is so big that frankly you are just going to be losing. They will win by sheer numbers, which is what is going to be making them scary. Mystraia is then my kingdom of monsters, and I do genuinely mean monsters. It is ruled by an ancient red dragon, and it is martial, which means that you will find it is devoted to war. And Mystraia and the Drakish Empire are in a current deadlock. Well, a deadlock that's only been recently broken by the Empire, though Mystraia is going to be counteracting that, because as the martial ability reads, they get to roll one additional die for their attacks, which means when they come out swinging, which they will, you will see that they will have a force of 7, whereas the Empire only has a force of 6. But the Empire is cunning, meaning they prepare traps and gather up a lot of information, counteracting their force. It is a brutal war between these two factions, and it serves as a good backdrop to the players because they hear some of the terrors of the front line. But more immediately, what is in my players' purview, what is in front of them, is they play within the Kingdom of Eredon. And the Kingdom of Eredon is an amalgamation of the feudal England and feudal France, where they have been beaten and battered several times over by Mystraia, meaning that they've had to set themselves off as being a highly supported kingdom, meaning every time Mystraia has done attacks against Eredon, Eredon's ability to have a good logistical support means that they've been able to just bounce back. Time has flown along. They have been rebuilding, repairing, repopulating areas. And that in turn means that Eredon is consistently, it's a regenerative kingdom that is consistently bouncing back from all of the attacks that it undergoes. And that means that they have had to, focus a lot of their resources around being a wealthy kingdom. They have to be wealthy because they need to put in all of the resources to rebuild themselves. They have to be able to do that because otherwise they will collapse, which in turn means that they are not focusing too much around their information gathering because they barely have time to establish a network, and they've just about set up a force to defend themselves barely against overwhelming odds. But that's also because many of the survivors become veterans, and in turn, their magic is doable, but it's not going to be over the top. Whereas the Drow of Well, the Drows of House Lothrain, well, they're doing everything they can to make Eredon's life hell by consistently undermining, attacking, doing slave raids. It's terrifying because these Drow are effectively preying upon the weakening body of Eredon, and my players have only just recently stopped their reign of terror, as they've been able to seal off several entryways from the Underdark up towards the Kingdom of Eredon, which has had a major impact for the story, and it's been great. Lastly, well, I deleted one of the factions here because the players actually went out of their way to destroy them. It was a small detachment of Yonti who were able to do a lot of behind the scenes destruction, which almost brought about the end of one of the regions of Eredon, but again, Eredon having the support attack allowed them to bounce back with time. But at the moment, I have the Kuo-toa, who is supposed to be the militaristic force that the player's been fighting against the most. I double over on it and also use the same stats for my Bullywalks when they were making a big show of force, because it was just easier to use the same stat line for the Kuo-toa to the Bullywalks. And similarly, I have a Druidic Circle. They are busy running around keeping everything in check, making sure that the wereboars of the plains are happy, making sure that the furbolgs of the forest are content, the treants are not angry at the foresters, the Mongolian elves that I have in the other plains are not deciding to wage war against the humans. They are a busy group, which is why I made them mobile. Their region is not just within one specific ecosystem. As a matter of fact, it is all over the place. That being said and done, that is a brief rundown for what I do. But I think in the next video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you what it is like to run a mock scenario, and I'm just going to be using all of these here to to basically just show you what it's going to be like. Alright, well, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you found this a little bit insightful, and hopefully between this and the next video, you might find that this is a functional thing for you. Thank you very much, and take care, everyone.